what is going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. Unfortunately, Johnny could not join us again this week, so I'm going to be flying solo again. But we have some race results to go over. Some classic events took place over the weekend, including one of the original 100-mile races in the U.S. We have a few FKTs to go over, including a female self-supported FKT on the Appalachian Trail and a few others. We have some breaking and frankly exciting news about Kilian Jornet, about his next big adventure. And we're going to go over all that. It's going to be pretty awesome. And also there's a new race being added to the Cocodona Buffet, as I call it. So, and it's going to be a monster. So we're going to talk about that. And we have some non-ultra news from the Beer Mile World Classic that took place in Portugal. And I think for the three T's this week, I'm going to wait until Johnny's return to do that. So no three T's this week, but we're going to jump right into some race results. The Canadian Death Race, 118K in Grand Cache, Alberta, up in Canada. That's around 73 miles. This race goes over 3 mountain peaks and totals 17,000 feet of climbing. And this is a classic. It's been going on for 25 years now. And Ethan Peters took the overall win in a blazing fast record time of 11:36 and 11 hours 36 minutes. The previous record was held by Ricky Gates from 2011 with a time of 12 hours and 15 minutes. So he not only set that course record, but he did it in convincing fashion. Ethan also won the Canadian Death Race in 2022. So he's well versed in that course. Kim Cameron won for the women in 15 hours and 19 minutes. And that's actually a back-to-back win for her. She won last year as well. Angela's Crest 100 also took place last weekend in Wrightwood, California. Angela's Crest is one of those classic OG races. It's one of the original 100-mile races in the United States. It's been going on since 1986, and the course has changed a lot over the years. But recently, the Eaton fire had burned the back half of the course, so they had to change it up for this year's race and turn it into an out and back. It's only the second time in 38 years that they had to do the race as an out and back. But this portion that the course was on this year it was in the high country, right? So they called it the AC 100 High Country Edition. And the climbing was pretty significant at around 23,228 feet of climbing in the San Gabriels. And the cutoff is usually 33 hours for AC 100, but they made it 36 hours this year. So, and the plan is, I guess, from what I read, to go back to a point-to-point format next year. As mentioned, that course, it's had a lot of variations over the 38 years that it's been going. Max Joliffe took the win this year in the High Country Edition in 21 hours and 23 minutes. And Gian Springer won for the women in 27 hours and 57 minutes. Waldo 100K was also last weekend. And this is another classic race. I believe it started in 2002. This is held at the Willamette Pass ski area in Oak Ridge, Oregon. And Missy Lots won for the women in 12 hours and 28 minutes. And Mario Mendoza won for the men in 9 hours and 59 minutes and 31 seconds. So he nabbed that sub 10 hour by the hair of his chinny chin chin. Badger Trail Races was also this weekend. These races are put on by 10 Junk Miles. That's a pretty cool group. They also have a podcast. That's fun. This course is on a rail trail. I think almost the whole course is maybe that crushed limestone, flattish course. The current course record holder, Martin Earl, he won the 100-mile race at Badger in 14 hours and 42 minutes. This is not a new course record. He does have the course record from a previous year, but it was good enough for a solid win. And Lindsay Phoenix won for the women in 17 hours and 50 minutes, which is the second fastest time for the women in the 100-mile distance. Top honors in the 100K distance went to Kimberly Huntley for the women in 12 hours and 27 minutes. And first place for the men was Brandon Murrell in 10 hours and 29 minutes. And he was first overall. And Kimberly was seventh overall. Michael Braun won the 50-miler, and he set a new course record in a time of 6 hours and 26 minutes. And for the women, Chelsea McKenna won in 9 hours and 32 minutes. And that was good for ninth overall. And finally, in the 50K race at Badger, because they have 4 races altogether, but in the 50K race, Kristen Zahner took the women's win and got second overall with a time of 4 hours and 16 minutes. And Christopher Allen won overall, and for the men in 3 hours and 59 minutes. Volcanic 50K up in Cougar, Washington took place. This is a very rugged race, and it goes around Mount St. Helens. And there's quite a bit of climbing in this 50K, around 7,400 feet. Catherine Boeri won for the women in 6 hours and 23 minutes, and Andrew Bumbelow won for the men in 5 hours and 28 minutes. And the final race result I'm going to go over today is for Rodeo Valley 50K. This takes place in one of my favorite places to run, the Marin Headlands, and Jason Hefner won in 4 hours and 3 minutes. And Teresita Gomez won for the women in 4 hours and 49 minutes. So nice job, everyone, and congrats to everybody that finished a race over the weekend. All right, let's dive into some FKTs, starting with this FKT on the Appalachian Trail. This is huge, right? Appalachian Trail FKT. And it was a female self-supported FKT by Sarah Baker. And she went northbound. So she went from Georgia to Maine. And her time was 74 days, 4 hours, and 42 minutes. So pretty epic. Appalachian Trail is one of the most famous routes for FKTs. And there's been many attempts, and there's going to be a attempt for the male self-supported FKT coming up soon that I'm going to talk about as well. But congrats to Sarah. That's an epic feat, setting the female self-supported on the northbound of the Appalachian Trail. The next FKT that I was going to talk about is the Teton Circumnavigation in Wyoming. This is a cool route. I think Jeff Peltier has an awesome video of this route. It's around 34 miles and 8,000 feet of climbing with some pretty epic views. And two women set the female unsupported for FKT for this route. And Annie Myrvang and Sam Diaz did it in 6 hours and 15 minutes and 55 seconds, which was really close to the previous FKT set by Kelsey Takuchi and Bridget Takuchi. They did it in 6 hours and 17 minutes and 14 seconds. So less than 2 minutes. Annie and Sam set the FKT by less than 2 minutes. That's pretty crazy over the course of 34 miles and 8,000 feet of climbing. Just as I've said about close calls, one bathroom break could have made or break in that time. So congrats to those two, Annie and Sam, for setting the FKT female unsupported in a Teton circumnavigation around the Teton mountains. Next FKT I want to talk about is the Three Sisters Loop in Oregon. And the Three Sisters is a mountain range. The North Sister, South Sister, and yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Is it the Middle Sister? I'm not sure. But anyway, it's a route that circumnavigates the Three Sisters Loop. And the female unsupported FKT was set by Brittany Haver in 8 hours and 26 minutes and 37 seconds. So yeah, this is a pretty famous route, an area for hiking and things like that, the Three Sisters. So congrats to Brittany. Also, there was some recent Colorado Trail FKTs that were just set. One supported and one self-supported. Both of them are still being ratified. So I'm going to wait until that ratification is complete, and then we will cover those FKTs on the show as soon as the ratification is done. Liz Derstine, update on her PCT self-supported FKT attempt. She is in Oregon, and she said she's on her way to the Timberland Lodge, and she was going by Timothy Lake today, I believe. Timothy Lake is really cool. It's actually part of the Mountain Lakes 100 course goes right by Timothy Lake. It's just a really serene area of Oregon. That section of the PCT leading up to Timothy Lake is really nice. That's 30 miles of the Mountain Lakes course goes out on that section of PCT and then also back, and it's pretty smooth, really nice trail. So that's a cool area. And once again, she does need to average 43.8 miles or over 43 miles a day. And her current average is 38.2 miles per day. So as I mentioned on the last show, I'm not sure if she's still planning on going after the FKT. And if so, is she going to start putting in some big days? Because she will need some big days to break that. So be interesting to find out, but we will still continue to cover Liz's attempt. All right. So Jeff Garmeyer, he's from the Free Outside podcast, which is an awesome podcast, by the way. Highly recommend listening to the Free Outside podcast if you have not. Jeff is a he's started out as a thru hiker, and then he got into trail running and setting FKTs, and he's run the Cocodona 250 many times. Really cool guy. He's witty and funny, and, fun to listen to on his podcast. He is going for the Appalachian Trail self-supported FKT, and he's going to be starting tomorrow, which is Thursday, August 7th. He's going to go from north to south. So he's going to go southbound, and the current self-supported FKT was set by String Bean, Joe McConaughey, in 45 days and 12 hours. So he's going for that FKT. And as we all know, last year, Tara Dower set the supported overall record in 40 days and 18 hours, or the overall record and the supported FKT in 40 days and 18 hours. So I don't know if he's going to go for that, or if he's just going to try to keep it under the 45 days and 12 hours from String Bean's self-supported FKT. But regardless, it's going to be fun to follow. He's actually fundraising for a charity called the Trevor Project, and the Trevor Project is a leading suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning LGBTQ plus young people. And what this organization does, they provide free, accessible 24/7 crisis counseling services through phone, the Trevor Lifeline, instant messenger through the Trevor chat, and also text through the Trevor text. And I will put a link to his fundraising page in the show notes for this episode. If anybody wants to donate, they can go to that page. He's trying to raise $21,970. He's already raised $960 and hasn't started yet. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So really looking forward to following Jeff's FKT attempt on the Appalachian Trail. Also, his tracker is looking really cool. For those of you looking at the YouTube video, you can see the shot of the tracker on the screen here. But yeah, so it should be fun to follow. And when his kind of John G announcement or ad for doing the FKT on his little video on Instagram is pretty funny. It starts off in like this field of wildflowers, and then he just like pops up and announces he's going to do the FKT, and then I don't know, it's pretty good. So yeah, definitely follow the Free Outside on Instagram, and also look for Jeff's tracker, and yeah, should be a good one. All right, let's jump into news. We got some huge news, folks. Some big news. Kilian Jornet has announced a new project, and he's calling it the States of Elevation. So if you go back to his third place finish at Western States, he did a social media post after Western States about the good vibes he got from the ultra community here, and also really enjoying the trails in the U.S. And it said it left him with a desire to do some more exploring and running in North America. And he had said in a post that the North American wilderness hasn't left his mind since crossing the Western States finish line. So then he kind of asked, he asked anybody really on a social media post. He said, give me some ideas. What routes should I do? Or, where should I run? And all this. Well, he got so many responses, and he said he didn't want to choose just one. So he's decided to do all the 14,000 foot peaks in the lower 48. And, he's done some stuff in the United States before. Like he did Denali up in Alaska. He did Grand Teton in Wyoming. He did the Tahoe Rim Trail. He's done some classic FKT routes, but this is like on a much, much grander scale. I voted for like Nolan's 14 and all that, but obviously that is not what he had in mind. He's looking at much bigger, much bigger. So not only is he going to summit all the 14,000 foot peaks in the lower 48 states, so that's going to be Colorado, California, and state of Washington. He's going to do it human powered. So he's going to do the summits on foot, obviously, but he's going to bike between the summits. So it's all going to be done on bike and foot. And his plan is to do an equivalent of a Tour de France stage on his bike, and also a marathon distance on foot each day. So Tour de France stage, bike, marathon distance on foot until he finishes all 14,000 foot peaks in the lower 48. And he's not wasting any time with getting this project going. He's going to start in early September. So probably in about a month. And that's going to be really cool. He's going to start at Long's Peak in Colorado. After Colorado, he'll head to California, and then he's going to finish up at Mount Rainier in Washington. And I've seen some different numbers as far as how many 14ers there are in Colorado, but it looks like around 58. There's 12 in California and 2 in Washington. So that'd be a total of 72. I've read a few different articles saying that he's going to be doing 67 summits. So I'm not really sure on those numbers. I'm sure we will find out more very soon. Regardless, this is going to be a monster of an adventure, and it is exciting. Really cool that he's coming to the United States to do this. And he's just, one of the most humble elite athletes in the world. And he's just such a cool guy. So it'd be fun to follow along. He's no stranger to projects like this. His Alpine Connections project in 2024, he did 82 peaks in the Alps over 4,000 meters. Each peak over 4,000 meters, which is a little over 13,000 feet. And he did that in 19 days. And then in 2023, he did a similar project in the Pyrenees, linking 177 peaks over 3,000 meters in height. That's a little over 9,800 feet in 8 days. So he's done the highest peak on every continent, including Mount Everest twice in 1 week. So you got to wonder, he's starting in early September to do all these 14,000 foot peaks in the United States. You got to wonder if weather will end up playing a factor by the time he gets to Mount Shasta or, up in Washington at Mount Rainier. But knowing Kilian and his abilities, he's one of the greatest mountain athletes of all time. He's going to probably fly through this pretty quick. So, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Can't wait to follow it. All right, moving on with news. 2 weeks after winning the High Lonesome 100, Rachel Entrekin won a trail marathon in Aspen at the Aspen Backcountry 50K. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Aspen Backcountry 50K event. Rachel did the marathon distance and won. So looks like her recovery is going pretty well. And I know she's got her eyes on the Mammoth 200 coming up. So that'd be cool. And the Roches, Megan and David, they both ran the half marathon at this Aravaipa event. It's a new Aravaipa race, first year race. Megan and David did the half marathon and they both won. So congrats to them. Speaking of Aravaipa, they just announced recently that there's a new 100-miler being added to the Cocodona races. So, the original race is a Cocodona 250. And, there's been other races added since. The Mingus Traverse, and then the I can't think of the 120 miler. Let's see. It's the isn't the Flagstaff? Let's see. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank here, but anyways, let's see. Oh, Sedona Canyons 125. Sorry. So they have the Cocodona 250, the Sedona Canyons 125, the Mingus Traverse, the Flagstaff Crest 39, and they've added for next year the Bradshaw Brute. So this is going to be an extremely tough 100-miler. It's no crew, no pacers, and they said no mercy. No crew, no pacers, no mercy. It's 100-mile. I think a lot of it is on technical terrain from the first 100 miles of the Cocodona 250 course in the Bradshaw Mountains. Extremely technical, not for beginners, not for the faint of heart. I can put let's see here. Here's the Instagram post by Cocodona 250 and Aravaipa running, and it shows some of the ascent, which I'm guessing is that 9,000 feet of ascent in the first 30 some miles of Cocodona 250 there. So yeah, that looks like it's going to be pretty tough. No crew, no pacers, no mercy. 100 rugged miles, hot days, cold nights, technical terrain. So should be pretty cool to follow that race in May next year. The Bradshaw Brute 100. Awesome. All right. Beer mile world record was set in Portugal at the Beer Mile World Classic. This was in Lisbon, Portugal. And Corey Bellamar from Canada set a new world record. And looks like he did it in 4 minutes and 27 seconds. Those of you not familiar with the beer mile, that's chugging a beer, running a quarter mile, chugging a beer, running another quarter mile, chug beer, quarter mile, chug beer, quarter mile. So 4 beers, 4 laps for 1 mile. And he did that in 4 minutes and 27 seconds. What the actual F? That makes no sense at all. But it's good enough for a world record. And on that note, there was the Beer Mile Championship record. So it's not a world record, but it's a record for the championship. for the women set by Elizabeth Lassiter, and she's from the U.S., and she did it in 5 minutes and 56 seconds. So that's awesome. Congrats, Elizabeth. This is something that I've never attempted, and I'm not sure why. I don't know. It seems like it might be fun to try, but then again, maybe not. All right. That pretty much brings us to the end of race results, FKTs, and news. So I do want to thank everyone for tuning in. Hopefully Johnny is back soon. The show, he definitely adds entertainment value to the show. So yeah. Thanks again, and we'll see everybody on the next one.